you show this post or tell us something about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. I'm happy you brought it up. Sorry, I just opened our video of us talking right now, and it was very weird to see myself that many times. So let me quickly hit present here. Okay, as that loads up. Okay, it's going to take a second. Isabel, I'm sure you know, because you have to film yourself. It's weird looking at yourself that many times. I can't tell if I'm becoming more or less self-conscious with time. So here I have three. Let me load it. Okay, you can't really see it, but this flow right here, it does a list row. It doesn't apply to each. It's super not performant on purpose because I want to prove a point. So this flow runs super slow. I took this flow, these 6 actions, and I put them in 3 different places. I put them in Power Automate. I put them in a Power Automate flow. I took this same flow. I put it into Logic Apps. I put it in a stateless function and a stateful function. I'll explain what those mean in a second. But what you'll notice is the stateless Logic App absolutely destroys by a magnitude of like 30 compared to Power Automate or Logic Apps. Like if we run this one finished running this flow in 1 second. Logic Apps took 8 seconds. Power Automate took all the way to 18. I did this over and over again. Sometimes this was 30. Sometimes this was 15. This was like 1 at best 2 seconds every single time. That is like a colossal advantage of Logic Apps over Power Automate, is the fact that in Logic Apps, you can use these like stateless functions. They obviously come with a lot of limitations. Like you don't get as many triggers. It's honestly HTTP, service bus, and like a couple others that are made for queues. They also are, they can only run for 5 minutes. So better finish within 5 minutes. But you saw how quick it runs. So 5 minutes should be enough. That is huge. Not to mention all the other things we said with Logic Apps. Like you get price, I think you can vibe code Logic Apps now. You can get them into source control in ways that aren't as nice with Power Automate. Those are some of the immediate callouts.
Sounds good. But thank you for the insight. I too is not too familiar with Logic Apps, so it's very nice to see the differences when one of them excels the other. All right, let's dive into our next section. It's time for our favorite session. So where we try to solve your specific performance problems in real time. Let's see what your burning questions you have for us. Let's see.
So now is the time for Mirko. Okay.
Basically, best practice to use the terminate action instead of to fail to avoid silent failures, says Ralph Redas. Okay, so basically it's more remarks.
Yeah, best practice to use terminate action and set it to avoid silent failures. Well, if you're having, if your flow is failing and you are handling it through Teams, that it's not really silent because you're getting notified about it. One really clever idea, I think George Dubinsky thought of it, and then Agnes made a post about it, which is the idea of you use a custom. It's hard to just like fail a Power Automate action on a Power Automate flow on purpose. So what you can do instead is you make a custom connector whose whole job is just to return 404, return an error, and then you use that as your little hack, and then that will force fail your flow, which could be a convenience.
I think they're talking about the scope where you try and catch. When you catch it on the Power Automate backend, it doesn't show that it has failed. So if we're pulling it from the automation center, it still shows as success, even if it has failed with the scope. So I would always add a terminate fail, just so in the backend you can see something had failed.
Okay, that makes way more sense than everything I just said.
Great.
All right, next one.
Yeah. I've been struggling with slow Power Automate flows. How can I identify whether the issue lies in my flow logic or with the data source themselves?
That one's fun. So in this one, first depends on what your data source is. Is it SharePoint? The next one is, I'm curious how you're pulling it, especially like how complex those relationships are. One thing you can do is, as a sanity check, is have your Power Automate flow point to like a different list or just like maybe a simple Dataverse table and see if you're still having those problems. Because if so, then it probably isn't necessarily the data source, but your flows themselves. Inside of the flows, it depends on like, is a specific logic step failing? And if so, why? Those are the areas I usually go to. I'm curious what the rest of the groups thinks.
I would just go to the flow run and check if it fails. Sometimes SharePoint does fail with the 404 sometimes. If there's a lot of SharePoint connectors running from the other flows, I would try a filter query, like you said, trying another list as well. I would say if it's more than 5 seconds, there's something wrong, in my opinion. 5 seconds is a long time for API to go and come back.
It depends. I think the SharePoint API is very slow.
I would disagree. Unless you're throwing 50K items, then it shouldn't be more than 5 seconds.
But wait, Isabel. So you